My name is Chris Demlow, and today I'll be putting together a track for my brand new Glide Gear SYL 960 tripod dolly. I've decided to use 2-inch PVC for this because it's readily available and it rides right on the wheels, and it just seems to be the right choice. So I went on the internet and looked around for a few ideas, and the place where I bought my crane, Cobra Crane, will sell you a track setup that's 5-foot pieces of PVC with connectors that go in the ends of them. I looked on a few other sites and a few other threads, and I found that there's a little bit of confusion and people are looking for ideas on how to make these. And here's mine. This is what I came up with. This is it right here, and all it is a piece of 2-inch PVC that's been split with a wide notch cut out of it, slot cut out of it, and then it's heated up and rolled around a piece of 1 1/4 PVC until it forms to the inside of the 2-inch pipe. They work really well. They slide right in. 2 pieces of 2-inch PVC. They go right together. You can see there's basically no line there whatsoever. You can actually turn the pipe to where it's perfect, and your track won't feel that one bit. I use it all the time. So I'll show you guys how to make these. Alright, so I've got my piece of 2-inch PVC here, and what we need to do is make a couple of lines on it that are going to be where we're going to make our cuts. So the first line is just a straight line, and I've got my Workmate 200 set up here, and the pipe is basically just resting on the little ledges down here, and I'm going to just go ahead and run the pin across, trying to maintain the same angle. It's not critical that these lines are absolutely straight, but you want them to be fairly straight. And we'll loosen it up a little bit, and we'll get our tape, and we're going to measure over 1 3/4 inches. So I'm actually going to bring it up out of here to do this and make my marks. So we'll go ahead and set the line on the 1-inch mark. Go out here to 2 3/4 and make a mark, and then we'll do the same thing on the other end. And there we go. Now we've got our marks for our 1 3/4 inch slot. We need to draw a line that we can make our cut on. So we'll go ahead and set it back in the Workmate and rotate it until those lines are right along the side. And give it a little squish if you want to. I usually just hold it, and I run my pen right down the line using the side of the Workmate as a straight edge. Alright, well, we're ready to go ahead and start making our cuts. Go ahead and position it so it's straight up and down. Give it a little bit of pressure just to keep it from moving. That pipe will slide inside of there. And we'll go ahead and make our cuts. You want to make sure and keep the saw at a low angle. I'm using a back saw here. It has this rigid rib along the back to keep the saw straight. But if you keep the saw at a low angle so that you get a lot more blade in the curve, it stays really straight. Let's go ahead and make the cut. Okay, I've got my piece of 2-inch PVC with our 1 3/4 slot cut in it. That seems excessive, but you really need that much out of it so that the ends don't touch when you roll it down to its final dimension. That's real important. You want it to have a little bit of spring to it. But other than that, I'm ready to go cut it in half and then we'll roll it. I'm going to use a power miter saw to cut mine in half because it does a real nice square job on the ends. It's not critical that your ends are perfectly square, but the squarer the better, and looks better, works better, you know. So I'm going to go make that cut. Alright, I've got my two pieces cut, and now it's time to go ahead and roll them into the final shape that they're going to be to make them a connector between the two pieces of track. First thing we need to do is heat it up. I'm fortunate enough to have a steel top on my bench here. If you don't have that, you might want to use a sacrificial piece of plywood or something like that, because we're going to be using a heat gun and it gets pretty hot and it'll probably leave a mark or two on a piece of wood. You want to be real careful as you're heating this thing up here that you don't get it too hot and you don't burn it, because that really degrades the plastic, and the hotter you get it, the worse off it is. It degrades it. So we're going to go ahead and just heat it to the minimum amount that we need in order to form it. So we'll test it with our hands and see how it goes. Alright, let's go ahead and heat it up. Alright, I think it's ready to roll now. It's just a little bit malleable. I can squeeze it together with my fingers. It's very hot. And let's just go ahead and roll it between our hands. Form it around the piece of 1¼ inch PVC. You want to spend a little time on the edges and get them really well formed into there. It'll stay warm for quite a while. It has to cool for about 15 minutes before you can do anything else with it. Then we slide it out, adjust it a little bit like that, hold it till it's going to stay that way, and then I just usually stand them up. The one thing you don't want to do is put that inside of a 2-inch piece of PVC pipe and let it cool inside of there, because what it does is it'll push it into its shape, and then as it cools, it'll contract and makes it too small. So we'll just go ahead and let it stand up and cool, and we'll do another one. Alright, here's our completed connector. As you can see, the kerf is a lot narrower now because it's been reformed to fit inside of a 2-inch PVC pipe. I have some PVC pipe test pieces here. This is 2-inch Schedule 40, that's what I'll be using for my track. Let's see if it fits inside of it. And it's perfect. Nice and tight, but you can still move it around in the pipe. Absolutely awesome. And if I twist the pipe just a little bit, you can see there's absolutely no appreciable difference between the two. Oh, your dolly's going to run perfect on this. Smooth as silk. I like it. So anyway, that's my take on how to make these PVC connectors. You have to practice a little bit and get them to where they fit nice and tight but aren't too loose. It'll just take some practice. Make a bunch of them. You're going to want a bunch of them anyway. So thanks a lot for watching, and maybe we'll do this again sometime.